You got a koozie?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Wait, don't do it yet. Ready? You rolling?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Just spill it on yourself.
Great start.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome back. I am Jason Salyer, and this is my really, really good friend Dustin here.
Can I get a bandana to get this stuff off my face? I look like a goofball.
You want to intro that again?
I look like the way I
Why are
feel.
you messing
Yeah,
up
here
our
we
intro?
go. Let's do it.
Gosh, he's always screwing stuff up. Be serious. All right. All right, guys, welcome back. My name is Jason Salyer, and this is my really good friend Dustin. Hey, oh, thanks for that. Thanks for that. Dustin is one of the owners of Wazoo. We've took out survival gear, and we're just doing Wazoo Gear, correct? Okay, because it's not just for survival, it's for everyday use, right?
Yeah.
Just getting at it, just doing things, right? Like jumping fuses on motorcycles like I've used it before.
Yeah, that sounds like a familiar story.
Not a survival story, but an inconvenience that I was able to pull the brass wire out of my belt, jump a fuse, and get myself 30 miles out of the mountains and back to civilization, right? So, yeah, not survival, but very, very useful. So Wazoo Gear. So what we have here inside of this very cleverly disguised, mundane, simple box, nothing fancy, until you open it up and you get explosions of things going on here. We have the Adventure Kit, and tell me about the Adventure Kit.
Sweet. Well, let me use this as an analogy, metaphor,
if you will.
So the box being indescript on the outside, but having the quote-unquote explosions on the inside of all kinds of information. FYI, if you do get something from us, take the time to open up your box. There's all kinds of little... So if we could, I'd like to use this box that we ship the stuff in to kind of use it as a general metaphor for the way we make products.
Allegory.
So, and metaphor and allegory, if you will. So, indescript outside, inside, quote unquote, explosion of stuff. And that really is a way we design a lot of things to be innocuous. There it goes, innocuous on the outside. And then on the inside is where all the goodies are. FYI, if you do get a package from us, take the time to open it up. There's all kinds of cool little hidden stuff in there, and that's what we do. We hide stuff in our gear, or our gear are ways to hide things. So it goes anywhere from hats to belts to necklaces, and it's made, our new tagline is everyday gear, wild capability. And the general gist is that you can have this stuff on you. No one thinks you're some weirdo packing a bunch of stuff. You don't have to wear big cargo pants because you're Mr. Survivor Man going out and solving problems or getting yourself out of trouble.
What's wrong with cargo pants?
Oh, this is awkward.
It's messed up, man. Okay.
So I won't go too much into the allegory of the box, but just suffice it to say, outside indescript, inside descript. And that's how all this stuff goes with what we make. And this is just the kit that goes inside of our belt. We have a belt that has a secret pocket in it, and you can put the stuff inside the belt. Boom. Always an excuse to take the belt off. So it's a belt, looks like an everyday belt. Literally, tons of belt look like this, but there's more that meets the eye, just like the box. Same thing with our hat. I'm wearing a hat with 6 different pockets on it with all kinds of gear hidden inside of it.
I lost my hat in Mexico. It's very sad.
How'd you lose it?
I was strapped to the back of the motorcycle. It had like $300 in it, and the gear. It's really sad. I don't want to talk about it.
We call it a cash cap, but you don't have to just put cash in it. You can also cash other things in it.
Dang it. I'm so stupid. Okay. All right, carry on.
So not only do we make stuff that can carry the gear in it, but all the gear itself is super over thoughtful. My business partner was an NASA engineer. I fancy myself as somebody who likes to design gear as well. So we really, if we want to crack into this, can we crack into this thing?
Yes.
Okay. We really, when we design this stuff, is for ourselves, really. And what we want to do is make the most capable kit possible. We wanted to think of ourselves as little MacGyvers going around fixing problems, just like you were saying that you did on your motorcycle.
Right.
jumping that terminal and being able to use the brass wire in a way. And that's generally our philosophy, is that we'd like to, in a world that it seems like is honoring and giving a lot of credibility to people's victim mentality, we'd like to give more of the capability to the hero, right? And also to empower folks to consider themselves kind of a hero in your own story. Yeah. So our tools are an embodiment of that. You can take our tools, have them on your person, and when something happens, you're ready to step up and be that person who's like, you know what?
I got it.
I got this.
Yeah. I don't want to be the victim. I want to solve the problem.
Problem solvers. That's who our audience hopefully is. People who are stepping up and solving issues. So this is our problem-solving package. It's essentially a toolbox, and what we've assembled in this are things that can help you in a dire situation. Like you mentioned earlier, survival was in our name, and it's still in our lifeblood. That we make tools that are something you'd want to have in a worst-case scenario to have on your person. But also in a not so worst case scenario, just an everyday scenario to solve. And so we overbuild and overthink and over engineer everything. So I won't run through. This is a 23 kit. I won't go through all the things, all the 23 different tools, but I'll just use a couple as examples of why we go so crazy into the details. So here's cordage. And if you just crack this open and you looked at this would look like your everyday rope. And in fact, it is rope, but it is the world's strongest rope. In fact, it's probably not the world's strongest rope. It's probably the galaxy's universe's strongest rope. The
universe's strongest rope.
Yeah.
Can you claim that?
Do you know what this is?
Dyneema?
Close. Very close.
No, not Dyneema. Technora.
Technora.
I was close. I have a problem with butchering the names of the kit. I do that a lot.
We've got word problems.
It's a problem. It's a problem. It's real strong string.
Can we
call it that?
Do you remember how strong the string is?
400.
Ooh, dude.
Did I nail it?
Yeah.
All right, nailed it. 400-pound tensile strength. Breaking strength, working load. Which is it?
Breaking strength.
Breaking strength. So 400 pounds before this breaks, and it's really small. It's like bank line, basically.
Yeah, even thinner. I mean, if that's a, let's see,
a small
number
bank
12
line.
Bank line. Yeah, it's one of the smaller bank lines. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's about that size, but crazy strong, super strong. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And there's how much is this?
I think it says right here on the package.
25 feet?
Yes.
Did I nail that?
Yeah, you did.
25 feet of 400-pound tensile strength Technora cord.
Yeah.
Man, I got it.
So it could have been a lot cheaper. We could have been a lot cheaper about it. Yeah. We could have put paracord, which is super cheap by the foot, and we wouldn't have fit as much. It may have been 550 pounds. We wouldn't have fit as much, and it really isn't as strong. It's actually technically stronger than paracord because it's more abrasive resistant. This is the same cord. We were saying it's the strongest in the universe because it's the same cord. This actual spec is the same one that's sold to the U.S. government for the Mars rover. They use this in deep sea, I guess, oil and gas drilling and things like that because it has a lot of characteristics that make it the strongest, toughest cord out there. So we incorporated that in the kit. It's hard to get because literally the government buys it up, and so we just kind of buy off the side of the government sometimes, and super expensive, but we put it in the kit. And almost everything, it was a no compromise decision on all the little pieces. When you talk about like button compasses, a lot of people have a bad attitude with button compasses because 99% of all button compasses out there are crap.
They're terrible. They don't point north. They fail. Yeah,
they're not liquid filled. Yeah. They're made in China or Taiwan. This is actually made in Japan. It's rated to go to 133 feet underwater. Yeah, and I've actually taken it to like 90 something feet underwater. Yeah. So every single tool.
What were you doing at 90 feet?
Free diving.
What were you just diving?
Yeah.
Fishing? Nothing? No spear fishing?
No.
Just diving.
Yeah, just diving.
That's awesome. 90 feet's way down there.
Looking at the fish.
That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it's at that point you're at 3 atmospheres.
Yeah.
So 3 times the atmospheres here, and this one go to I think to 4 atmospheres. So
that's cool.
It's huge pressures and side combo when you're free diving. When you're free diving at that kind of depth, 90, 100 feet, when you're coming up, you have to be really careful. You're coming up the rope like this. Because if you do like this, you'll actually like rip your esophagus. If you move your neck too much, you'll rip your esophagus open, or your like lungs will rip apart. It's weird, like, weird physiology when you're down at that kind of pressure. So you can imagine that kind of pressure in your body, any kind of small stuff can kill you really quickly. It doesn't even kill a compass. The compass is that tough.
That's pretty cool.
So this is tougher than the average human body, apparently. And that's across the board. All these tools are either the best quality in their field, or we had to custom make them ourselves to get them. So like the whistle is a custom tool, the ceramic knife is custom tool.
Yeah.
All the things are either custom to make the best, and it took us many years to create this kit and assemble it. But the idea was to make the most compact, capable kit that you can wear in your belt, or you can throw in your backpack. But we love the idea of coupling it with the belt so you can have it on you at all times. I've taken this belt with the kit in it, probably to at least a dozen countries, and that's going to include.
Pause. Wait for it.
So yeah, I've taken this belt all over the world, probably a dozen plus countries, and some of the countries are places like Israel that I've taken this belt with the whole kit.
I feel like you told me more than a dozen last time.
Probably so.
Are you lying to me then, or are you lying to me now? Which is it?
This is awkward. What did I say last time? It was the average of them both.
I don't know. Just making.
I went to less countries after I talked to you.
Less. Oh. Well, since you've stopped me last, it's been a dozen countries.
It's probably 2 dozen, really.
I see. 2 dozen countries.
3 dozen. A baker's dozen is what I meant to say.
Okay, all of them. Yeah. All right. Carry on. Sorry.
So, anyways, I've taken it all over and that's the whole point, is to be able to carry this kit on you during your everyday. You're going to work, you're traveling, or you're going out in the woods. It's just a kit that you can carry on your person, that you know that when you're walking around with this kit on you, something arises, you're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
You can take care of
it. So I didn't believe Dustin, as in many situations. I didn't believe him, so I decided to test it. Right. So I flew to Colorado with my belt and my Wazoo cash cap, which I had cash in. Believe it or not, I flew there with nothing but that. So I flew to Colorado, met you. You picked me up in Colorado, and from there we headed straight to the mountains, and we stayed 72 hours using nothing but the stuff in the belt and the hat, right?
Yeah.
And it got all the stuff done, right? We didn't die. It got really cold. Was it like 12 degrees or something one night? I can't remember.
See, there it goes, right there.
What?
Last time you said that, you said it was 18 degrees. Now it's 12 degrees. Was 18, now it's 12.
It was minus 12
What was it? Were you lying
degrees,
then or are you lying
12.
now?
It was minus 12 degrees. It was
Uphill,
real cold.
Ice,
Lots
snow.
of snow. Really bad.
Both ways.
Really bad situation. Anyway, 20,000 feet of elevation, way up there.
Yeah, down in a glacial river.
Yes. Yeah, a crevasse. We were in a crevasse the whole time. Anyway, mountains, Colorado, 72 hours using just the stuff in the belt and the hat. We did not die. A little bit of we're giving away the ending a little bit if you haven't seen
Spoiler,
it. But
we made it.
Spoiler alert, we did not die. We were able to start fire. We had shelter. We were able to we had Mylar blankets that fit in the beanie hats, the beanie cash caps. So Mylar blankets for a shelter. The cordage we used. What else did we do? We tried to fish. We didn't catch any fish.
No, we had really cool fishing poles.
Yeah.
But we used all the tools. We broke them out. We used a saw to cut down these different things.
Yeah.
We processed a lot of different stuff, made all kinds of different
clean
cool
water out
tools.
of beaver-infested creeks. We were able to accomplish all the stuff that we needed. Right? It wasn't very comfortable. It wasn't like staying in a 5-star resort. But we did not die in a situation where you potentially could die of hypothermia and succumb to the circumstances if you didn't have a little bit of kit on you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool, really fun challenge. If you haven't seen those videos, look those up. Maybe we'll put them in the description. Cool. So what else? What else are we talking about?
I think just one other thing I'd like to kind of go over. I won't go into all of the different tools. Just suffice it to say that they're all specifically and carefully considered to be put in the kit. But this is actually a full water purification, filtration kit all in itself. It doesn't look like much, but you unravel it, and it's a 1-liter water bag. We custom designed it with a high heat temperature plastic. So although not advisable to do it on a regular basis, you could actually boil water in the bag itself.
Which we did.
You saw it. Really, it's a real thing. It does come with purification tablets. You can use sodas, for example, to distill water.
Solar distillation. Basically putting it out in a clear container where the sunshine UV radiation kills all the nasties.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. And so there's various ways that you can use this little water kit, but I don't think that there's a smaller water kit out there where you can have an entire liter of water as a container and as a purification and filtration process. And there's a couple different things that are incorporated in here, and that fits in a belt. You can't put an Nalgene in a belt. I can't put an Nalgene in a belt.
No, not easily.
Yeah, and like your flower water bottle. I mean, that's basically camouflage in your garden. You put that down.
Yes, it's very nice. Yeah, it's like it's garden camo. That's what I'm calling it. Flower
So
patch.
I mean, you could easy to lose. So always good to have a backup water container. It doesn't have any flowers on it. It's pretty boring, but it gets the job done. So that's just one of the things that I think is a super cool, unique product that we made that's within this kit that you can carry on you.
Yeah, flashlight, super bright little flashlight.
Made in USA.
Made in the U.S. of A.
Mm-hmm. And we tried to source as much as possible made in USA. Honestly, we're not going to reinvent the wheel. Some things are just not that those factories have gone overseas. Like you can't get it made in the U.S. So if it wasn't made in the if there's a factory that makes in the U.S., we sourced it from them. If not, we didn't.
Sure.
But otherwise, we almost like when it comes to, I think the brass wires made in the USA. This fishing lines made in the USA.
Yep.
And then we do all the assembly and a lot of the part and piece assembly work in our own warehouse as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, even all the way down to this fire starter here. This is a small little blade, ceramic blade, super sharp, like scalpel sharp.
I've actually skinned a wild hog. It was probably 200 plus pounds.
Wow, was it 200? Was it
200 and
right? It was a baby, wasn't it?
A little suckling. It was a big one. It was a big old boar hog. It was a big hog. It was a wild hog.
Like
killed it out on a ranch.
Size of this RV. It's huge.
Yeah, I mean, when it was a baby.
All right.
So it's a big hog, and if you know anything about like wild boar hogs, they basically have an armor on their shell. They're super tough, and so I actually skinned a hog, and I've skinned deer with it too, but just to prove out, ceramic is harder than steel. It's generally speaking 10 times harder than steel. It doesn't rust, doesn't corrode, doesn't get found usually by agents at the airport. So you can have a sharp object, not a knife.
Not a knife.
Definitely not a knife.
No.
You can have a sharp object. Do you mind if I use this?
Use it.
Okay, cool. And then not only is it a blade, which is super cool to have, you used it a little bit. It's obviously not a chopper, not a chopper.
No.
And you can't baton with it, but for doing little whittling tasks and things like that.
Yeah, small. Obviously, cutting cordage and stuff. I mean, it'll cut this easy. It'll cut through anything like that. Clothing, fabrics, and stuff like that. Really does a good job of that. Emergency scalpel, it would do that as well. Fishing line does all that really good, but it'll also carve a little. I mean, you're not gonna like be making 15 deadfall traps with it. Mm-hmm. Probably, I guess you maybe could, but you're probably not going to want to do that. But it will do a little bit of carving if necessary. I mean, we cut down cane poles to go fishing with that knife.
Work with a lot of willow,
yeah, softer woods and things like that. It'll get the job done.
And the big issue is that ceramic's almost too hard for its own good in that
it will chip
regard.
yeah,
it's just super brittle.
Yeah.
And then the other function of it is when it's closed, it's probably the world's like smallest little fire starter because to scrape off the black. Maybe we'll get to use this in a little bit, huh?
Yeah,
cool.
For sure. One of my favorite aspects of the Wazoo gear is this one right here. I don't know if you can zoom in on that. How close can you get? Do I need to get closer? Probably need to get closer. Can you read that? Yeah? So this whistle, this emergency signaling device, has instructions right on it. Back in. You just blow it out the wazoo. Right?
All the dads are laughing.
That's good. I love it. So good. But anyway, all right, what else?
It's true. We really did put Wazoo on there because we thought it'd be funny if we ever had a customer call in, they're like, I don't understand, my whistle's not whistling. It's like,
blow it out your daggum wazoo. That's good. All right, cool. Any other like philosophical things you'd like to share with us? This meaning of life, you know, what does it all mean? Why are we here? You know, got anything?
Nope.
Okay, good. I didn't think you would.
Nothing. Got nothing.
Got nothing. All right, cool. Let's set the box on fire.
Let's do it.
Okay, deal.
Sweet.
So we're going to light this box on fire because it's going to be fun, and we're going to use some of the gear to do it. These are my favorite store-bought fire starters. I like to make the Vaseline and cotton balls myself. I like to make my own tinder and stuff like that, fire starters. That's all great, but it's a bit messy. You know, you have to put it in Ziploc bags and stuff like that. And when it gets hot, sometimes there's the hole in the bag, it runs out into your gear and makes a mess. This does not do that. I've had these in my belt for like months, and then pulled them out, crack them open, light it right up, and they burn for quite a long time. I can't remember how long. Do you?
A couple minutes.
Yeah, at least a couple minutes, I'd say. And that's...
I never use a whole one. That's the thing is I usually will only use a third of it, really.
Just break off a small piece. Yeah, unless it's really wet. If it's really wet outside, I'll use the whole thing just to be sure. But it does burn for a couple minutes, and that's long enough, generally speaking, to dry out any damp kindling tinder that you might have found scrounged up. So, and you could soak these. Did you soak this in water for like months or something?
Yeah, that's kind of how we came to this. We did not make these. We were on the prowl. We'd had our own tinder that we'd kind of we encapsulated into a like a tube. Yeah. And we used to. It was a really cool tinder. It's called First Aid Tinder. I don't think you know about this. But it was this cool tinder. It was cotton and triple antibiotic mix with white petroleum in it. So and then you could open it up and you could actually use it on the wound.
Right.
And then it also was a great fire starter. But it was labor intensive, and we would close it up in this like little straw, and it was we couldn't make it. We just didn't have the manpower to be able to keep up with that. So we were looking for a new fire starter, and so I have a box. I mean, a huge tote,
giant tote.
Yeah, 600 kilos, and I mean 400.
You took it with you to all 27 countries you went to, right? Did you take it in?
So the huge tote. It's just full of fire starter stuff.
Yeah.
And it was anybody who had a fire starter or a type of tinder on the market, I'd grab it up and test it out.
Yeah.
And I'd gotten this one, and it seemed pretty promising. And I'd put it into it actually floats. If you throw it in water, it floats. So I'd put it into like a jar of water, and then I put something on top of it to submerge it. And it was a couple inches down under the water, and I forgot about it on the workbench. And it was, I think, about 2.5 months. Or two years, can't recall. It's 2.5 months. It's my story, I'm sticking to it. And I came back to it, and I was like, oh, I forgot about those. And I pulled it out, maybe did this to kind of wring the water on the outside, broke it open, and you'll see when we break it open.
Just right back up.
Fuzzy, completely dry on the inside, and then it immediately ignited.
So
I was like,
I've tried lots of different. Yeah, I've tried tons of different fire starters, all kinds of different ones. Some are better than others, obviously. Some work really well, but those I've never found any of them that beat those.
No,
those
tinder.
Really
I mean, we've tried it all. There's nothing.
The little quick tinder tabs, those are fine. The little white fuzzy ones, they don't last as long as those.
They're not as impregnated with the wax either, and they're not really waterproof. No. The way that they do them is they do the way they manufacture them. I think is they cut them. They do. Like a long rope with wax.
It looks like
they cut them, so then the ends can get permeated with water. On these, though, they kind of pre-cut them, and then they do their little process, and so it's completely sealed up. So I'm only going to do a little third here. So challenge accepted on starting a fire with just a third.
I'm making cardboard logs.
Oh,
isn't that cool?
By the way, it's no accident you can burn that. We do have a environmental consciousness with our products. We just opened up the Adventure Kit. We're redoing that packaging this quarter so that it'll have no plastic in it. And
really?
Almost all of our other boxes are very burnable, very reusable. And everything we do is try to make them functional. Most of our packaging has double functions. Some of them just like really cool, like burning them. But other ones are actually functional, like the belts have a little, the hang tag. I think we're changing them now, but the hang tag for the belts is actually a coaster for like putting your drink on.
Yeah.
Several of our products have the multifunctional aspect just to the packaging.
You're so crafty.
Business partner Nick's pretty good at that stuff. Yeah, he's sitting around all day just not doing anything but thinking about cool packaging, I guess. No, Nick works hard on doing all the boring stuff. All right, so I don't know if anyone ever uses this phrase, but I'd like to popularize it because I think
popularize a word. I feel like you just made that up. I'm pretty positive you just made that up. Popularize? It's not a word. Okay.
Somebody go change the Wikipedia article on popularize. Invented by Dustin. 2022. So the biggest issue with people when they first try to start a fire, if you're not getting it to ignite your tinder, when in doubt, fluff it out. Like 9 out of 10 times the issue is you have not fluffed it enough, because as the fire pyramid goes, you really got to have a lot of air in there.
Would you say that you can't fluff enough?
I can fluff enough. I don't think you can fluff enough. All right. What do you think? You think that's fluffy enough? You think we should fluff more?
That is quite fluffy. But generally speaking, though, like I don't even do that.
Do the end.
I mean that is definitely going to work for sure. But I really, for most of the time, that's pretty much all I do to start them up, and they light right up.
Here, put one on. Let's see. I'll do like a double
strike.
See how good I am. All right, we get one practice run.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's not fluffed enough.
You can't fluff enough. It's a T-shirt, Dustin. I want 5%.
5% of all fluff cells. All right. Another little pro tip. Mm-hmm. This is across the board. You use an art product, somebody else's. There's this idea to do this scrape motion. Well, if I did this and kind of aggressively, I could hit your hands or whatever platform the tinder's on. So I'm going to actually do a pull motion. So I'm going to go. And action. Whoa, both of them?
Both in one strike? That is impressive. Let's see if I can not drop that. You like my fire lay that I did there with the cardboard?
Yeah, a little campfire. This is romantic.
I felt pretty good about
it. So now you got a little candling. You could actually use that as is and set it up like that, and you can use it kind of as a little candle too. Yeah. I've done that.
Yeah, right on.
People like to say the crayon thing, light the top of the crayon. That's like a little hat, little travel hack. Well, these kind of work the same way.
Yeah. Yeah, these are the best.
Boom.
Far.
We did it.
We did it.
They said we couldn't.
We proved them wrong once again. Cool. All right. Anything else we need to talk about?
All my numbers are 100% fact checked, and were real as I said them.
As of now. All right, cool. I think that pretty much sums it up. Did we miss anything, guys? You want to add anything else? Nailed it?
Sweet.
Christy, anything? Okay. All right. Hey, thanks for coming out. You're swell. Cool, man. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Check out Dustin. Go to, what are you on Instagram? Undercover Influencer? Is that you?
That's my personal one,
His personal one. Undercover Influencer. He does some pretty awesome stuff, like, free dives 300 feet down into the depths of the ocean, whale hunting.
350.
Other things, Wazoo Gear Company. Is that what we're calling now?
Wazoo Gear Co. Yeah.
Wazoo Gear Co.
Yeah.
Okay. Wazoo Gear Co. Check that out. Links in the description, all of that. If you want to buy some of the kits, that would be fantastic. We would be really grateful for the support. And
makes you a better person.
It really does. Yeah.
Don't be a loser and not have a kit on you.
Makes you a better person. You'll be a better human.
Just quit being
a
failure.
You know what? Be less terrible.
Yeah.
Okay. See you next time.